Welcome to Magic Hour. I'm your host, Paul Chapo. And today we take a look at the movie Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad fame. He plays a nobody, a middle-aged guy just living his suburban life. His house gets broken into, and he seems kind of calm about the whole thing, considering that his son is in a fight with one of the robbers. I was thinking that this was kind of a remake of Death Wish, which would have been kind of weird in itself because there was a remake of Death Wish a few years ago with Bruce Willis. But I was like, okay, but we have all the elements of a Death Wish movie. We got this suburban guy. His family gets robbed, but okay, there was no rape or anything like Death Wish. He feels kind of outraged in an understated kind of way. All his neighbors kind of pick on him and mock him for not doing more. He actually let the robbers go because he realizes that the gun the robbers are using is not even loaded. There's a lot of strange situation going on here. Why is he okay? He realizes that there's no bullets in the gun, but he just seems so calm during the whole thing. And I was like, is this really a Death Wish remake? And then, of course, he goes out looking for trouble because his male pride has been wounded. He was in this rut as this middle-aged man, just doing his little job and going to work. And he's not even having sex with his wife. She's kind of ignoring him. His kids kind of don't like him. It has all those elements of a Death Wish movie. And then we drop the bomb. Sometime during the first act, oh no, this guy is not a nobody at all. He's actually a former CIA assassin. That's right. Bob Odenkirk is a former CIA assassin. But then I stopped and I said, let me take a look at who wrote this movie. And of course, it is Derek Kolstad. Who is Derek Kolstad, you ask? Well, he's the guy that did John Wick, which is basically a movie with the same plot. It's a guy whose wife has just died. He has a nice car. He's at a gas station. Some Russian mobsters see his car. They break into his house to steal his car. They kill his dog. But then we find out that John Wick used to be a mob enforcer or a mob assassin, and that he once killed 3 guys with a pencil. A pencil! This movie had all those elements. It was just a total rehash of John Wick. I think the only big difference in John Wick in this movie is that he doesn't use a lot of guns. In fact, one of the first scenes in the movie, and you've probably seen this in one of the trailers, he gets on a bus. And for some reason, these Russian mobsters also end up on a bus. It was a totally ludicrous way they decided to take the bus. But he's on the bus with 5 Russian mobsters, and he has this hand fight with them. And let me tell you, that whole scene was absurd. Because even with training, somebody of Bob Odenkirk's stature would not be able to fight 5 guys and win. Granted, they did make it a little bit more realistic. I mean, I think at one point somebody slams him into the bus windows and he flies outside, but he comes back inside to continue to fight. It's totally ridiculous. I don't have a problem with this. I mean, they're going to make movies like this every few years. I think there was a female remake of the Death Wish franchise. It was called Peppermint. These movies are very, very fun. And I have to admit that I did enjoy the movie. I did enjoy the action, but the action got more and more cartoony as the movie went on. Everybody in this character's life, his name is Hutch Mansell. It seems like everybody in his life was some kind of like his father was a former FBI agent, and then his half brother was a former something. I don't know. They never really did clear that up, but obviously his half brother, who's black, had been in the army or something because he's just a expert sniper. So all these ridiculous things that there is no man in America who has a similar background or the same ludicrous setup with all these family members who are also expert killers. And the fact that he engages with Russian mobsters, it was clearly ripped out of the John Wick movies. Now this actor, he's done 3 of those movies, so it's a formula that works, obviously, but why Russian mobsters? Why go back to that well when you can? There's so many different criminals that you could have used instead of Russian mobsters. Now, I will say, okay, there's a lot of other good things about the movie as well. I like the directing. The directing was really good. It was directed by this really new director. I mean, I looked at his stats. His name is Illa Nashuler. He really hasn't even done anything. He's done a couple of movies I've never heard of. All like C-rated movies, probably. Hardcore Henry, Biting Him. I've never heard any I Am Losing Weight. Well, he's a producer on that. So this guy, how he got this, this prime spot to direct this movie, I don't know. I don't know how he did it, but he did a very good job. And I guess somebody in Hollywood saw how well he did in these other movies, these B movies, and they decided he'd be right for this. Now, just to give you a little background information, Bob Odenkirk trained for 2 years to be in this movie, and apparently the genesis of the idea for this movie is that some people actually broke in Bob Odenkirk's house, and he locked him in the basement, and he was kind of infuriated because I think he got some chastising from the police or something. I'm sure there's an interview with him explaining this on the internet. But yeah, that was the genesis for the idea of this movie. And I really didn't see anything in his movements when he has a fight that he couldn't accomplish just with well choreographed moves. I don't see why he needed to really train 2 years for that. I mean, I didn't get the feeling that I was watching some guy who was an expert. It just seemed like a just middle-aged guy. Just I don't know. I didn't feel like the 2 years of training was warranted because I never really truly believed that he was actually kicking these guys, kicking their asses. So, but like I said, I liked the movie. It was nice to see Christopher Lloyd get some work. Christopher Lloyd, of course, played Doc Brown in the Back to the Future movies. He plays Bob Odenkirk's father in the movie. But the only thing I will say that I felt was bad about the movie is that the violence gets more and more outlandish and cartoony, and it's just not believable at a certain point. But it's so fun that you just forget about it. And then, of course, they have this showdown in a warehouse at the end of the movie. It's like something I've seen in so many movies. In fact, I think I saw the same thing in that movie with Denzel Washington, The Equalizer. They have the same kind of ending in that movie. He has this showdown. And I think that movie also had Russian mobsters. He has this showdown in the warehouse. And they use these Home Alone techniques to kill all the mobsters. They did the same thing in this movie. So it was not very original in that way. But like I said, it was entertaining. I did feel like it was a John Wick ripoff. It's a ridiculous movie with ridiculous premise, ridiculous execution, but it was entertaining. I give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, it was that good. And another crazy thing about this movie is you can see it almost anywhere. It's on Apple TV. You can even see it on YouTube. It's on Amazon Prime. They really just released it everywhere when they went to video on demand. So you shouldn't have any trouble tracking this movie down. But that's it. That's all I got for Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. It's on a streaming service near you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a like. Give me a comment down below. And smash that bell if you're already a subscriber so you know when my next video drops. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.